Hey, Pat.
Hey, man, what's up?
Stoked for this episode. Hasn't been that long since we talked about Paramore, but we've got some big news and we've got some old news. 15-year anniversary, and I'm ready to get real sad.
It's been a tough week. Going back, there's the middle part of the album. Well, let's just get into it. You want to do it? You want to do the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast.
Yeah, man, it's super duper angsty. It's like, so my sister always said, well, let's say this. This is the Paramore. Hayley Williams dropped new music this week. We're doing the All We Know Is Falling episode. We're going all the way back to the start of
The beginning.
The very beginning. And my sister always said the best way to re-inject that teen angst right into your bloodstream is to see Taking Back Sunday live as an adult. If you think you've grown out of it. And I'm not saying that's untrue, but if you're balling on a budget or Taking Back Sunday doesn't happen to be touring through your town that year, which they're pretty active, you probably have a pretty easy chance of seeing them. But I would say the cheap version of that is just to listen to All We Know Is Falling because, oh man. We're going to introduce something new this week. It's called the Angst-O-Meter. And we're just going to work through it. We're gonna make that thing ring. And I guess that felt like the best way to kind of work through. We don't want to grade the songs like we usually do. That kind of was working into kind of like this weird splitting hair thing that didn't feel super productive. Plus with this album, I don't know. No two albums are the same really, so I don't know. The angst jumped off the page, Tom. Is that fair to say?
So I've made jokes in the past about liking songs that make me want to jump off of a cliff or grow my hair out to cover my one eye or whatever. But dude, this album is takes me to all joking aside, dangerous levels of angst.
Yeah,
it takes me back to 2007 because like most people, I heard this album after Riot came out. Sitting in my basement alone, probably playing RuneScape, and just going through those 16-year-old motions. Man.
Going through it, man.
I mean, dude, the lowest point in my life probably was when I discovered this album, and listening to it just takes me right back there in a way that's almost too much for comfort. So it felt like an effort to get through this album, not because I don't like it, but because it felt spiritually painful to listen to this as an adult.
Well, you said, do you want to talk about Simmer now? You said even watching the Simmer video brought you, snapped you back into place. I don't know. We wanted to do this, it would be top of mind this week because of Simmer. We wanted to talk about it. You said even kind of watching that snapped you into focus for all of it almost. It was the mindset returned.
Yeah. So I saw Paramore for the first time. I think it was 2008 Warped Tour, and Hayley Williams signed my Motorola Razr. I've told the story before where she signed the little battery pack, and a couple weeks later the phone broke, and I had to send it back to Apple or to Verizon to get repaired, and I lost her signature, which was a bummer. But
yeah, man,
coming home from that Warped Tour, I was still dating that first girlfriend that I didn't even like for 5 years. And I was just you know what? I'm going to drop out of high school. I am going to steal a car if I have to. I'm going to follow this band around and convince Hayley Williams that she should not be with anyone else other than me. I've never loved anyone so much in my life. And I was in a mood for a week after meeting her in her yellow highlighter hair. Right when Riot was, maybe it was 2007. I don't remember. It was the one that they headlined.
I'm trying to think of the celebrity crush I would have had at that same age. I think it was that gymnast Sean Johnson who was 4 feet tall when you're actually in real life, but it was hard to tell. I remember James McCallion and we were probably listening to Paramore at the time or something. But yeah, I would defy anybody to out 2007 what Tom just said. that Hayley Williams signed his Motorola Razr at the Warped Tour. Please tweet at us at _reminiscentfm. If that's like, I don't know, that's not even a Mad Lib. Like you couldn't even like put that many holes in the sentence to, that's about as good as it gets, I think. That's pure Walter White caliber 2000s, just right in your ear. And I like it. I've always loved that story. I hope it comes up more often. We should do Riot next week because I don't know. There's a lot to cover.
But, you know, watching this video, okay, so Simmer, for those of you who have not been on the internet in a week, Hayley Williams made her first real solo effort. And she released a music video. It was kind of a big deal. There was a lot of mystery surrounding the song. No one really knew what to expect. And I was waiting for the YouTube premiere. I've put out an Instagram story and, you know, with the rest of the world, got the very first view of the music video for Simmer. And it was somehow like exactly what I was expecting and totally different all at the same time. Like musically, in a genre stylistic fashion, didn't expect all that nudity, but you know, let's talk about the video. Let's talk about the song. I don't want to spend too much time on it because this is the Reminiscent show. The episode is All We Know Is Falling, but you know, do want to talk about what inspired, I guess, this episode.
Yeah, what's happening now, what happened at the very beginning. I think it's interesting. Someone tweeted at us and said that they thought the video was a little predictable. I don't know if that was the exact word, but I don't know if you felt the same way. I don't think the song was, I guess my take was this, it was good. And I'm not a huge music video guy, so it could have been great or not great. It was pretty kind of right down the middle. Not bad though. I wouldn't say stripped down the song, but maybe minimalist or something. And the angst has turned to rage or something. I don't know. There's I just want to hear your takes. It felt when I was writing the notes out for this show that it was like bad dialogue from an early Star Wars movie, like, you know, angst leading to rage, leading to the dark side of the force or something. I wasn't quite sure. Like, I was like, I can't write that or say that, actually. That sounds so dorky. But yeah, there's a lot going on. And I kind of want to let you take it away because I don't have a ton to say other than I pretty much like the song. I was very amused by all of your takes on Twitter, though, that's for sure.
So I thought that the song was, I guess what bummed me out is when I think of Hayley Williams, I think of like really powerful voice, lots of energy, you know, kind of yelly. And this song, like while she flexed her artistry a little bit more, I don't think it was as Hayley as I would have hoped for or expected. A little more artsy. It was good. It was fun to hear her just like completely on her own without her band. I think that the song was okay. I mean, I didn't hate it. If it wasn't Hayley Williams, I probably wouldn't have finished the video just because it wasn't really my thing. And in terms of predictable for the video, yeah, I mean, basically she's running from her former self, which is like a trope that's been done a million times. But there are a lot of really interesting themes that make it a little less predictable, maybe a little more admirable. So
you're talking about Easter eggs?
Yeah, kind of, like content-wise anyway. So her album is going to be called Petals for Armor. And this is a really interesting thing because she just posted this thing that just said petalsforarmor.com. No one knew what it was. And I don't know if this is like totally coincidence or what, but people found out that if you rearrange the letters, if you make an anagram, you can get last of Paramore spelled almost kind of phonetically. And people thought that like she was killing Paramore. She's a solo artist now. And I think that's kind of goofy. That's just like a fun little thing, but
I don't think you have to read too far between the lines to reach that the Paramore experiment was unenjoyable from like the second album on. Yeah. And there have been different band members and I don't think you're stretching too far, man, to get there. Yeah. I like, right? That has to be it. Why else? I don't know. Right? The internet's usually pretty good. If we look at like, if X amount of Taylor Swift fans can decode all those music videos, I think there were enough Hayley stans, you know, on the case. I think I do think it's fair to say she is going to scrap the Paramore thing for a bit. I don't think we're going. That's not that. I think I'm like comfortable saying that. I don't think this is conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting because I guess I was expecting like this totally radical departure from After Laughter, which was like kind of that weird 80s kind of vibe, and this wasn't too different. So maybe
that was the departure. That the 80s stuff was the departure. I felt like
oh yeah,
I don't know. Part of me roots for the band to always be together and everyone to love each other. Always, obviously, that's not the case. But like, if you're going to call it Paramore and do that 80s thing, that could have been a solo project. I'm not sure. Like it's almost like interesting because now you go to a Paramore show, are you not going to hear the Hayley solo stuff, but you have to hear like Rose Colored Boy right next to All We Know Is Falling and stuff. Like, I think Simmer sounds closer to the early Paramore stuff almost. So, but maybe there was the trap of the Paramore thing to begin with, and that's why she covered herself in mud and bashed the face of herself in, which was kind of another Star Wars parallel. The more I think about it, like when Luke sees his own face in Darth Vader's mask when he has that little fever dream. I don't know. Actually, you know what? This was a Star Wars movie. I think I've come to that conclusion.
Well, okay. So the mud thing, I wasn't really sure what it was, and I saw a really good comment on the top of YouTube. And okay, a couple different things here. This is the same house that took place in the music video for Told You So from 2017's After Laughter. She was really depressed, pretty morose in this video, and now she's running through the woods by something she doesn't quite know what it is. She gets to the house, she sees this, it's a bowl of clay. She's covering herself in clay, and then she kills her past self, who's been chasing her up until now, and the purpose of like the clay is like, all right, now she's covered in clay. She's ready to be formed into something else or like take her next form. And there's this thing of when Zach Farro left the band like a while ago, he made a statement that like, oh, this band is just like manufactured bullshit. Hayley is the only one that's even signed to a record label. The rest of the band is disposable. So I think there's some elements of, you know, maybe she thought that her past life, whatever, wasn't even real. It wasn't even her. So now that she's running naked through the forest, she's totally exposed, 100% her, nothing to hide behind. And she's running from this manufactured, you know, part of herself. She kills him. She's covered in clay. And now she can become anything that she wants. And I thought that was interesting and a really good insight from random YouTube commenter. There was also something about petals. I Googled it for a while and I couldn't find it, but there's a parallel between like petals or flower petals and like a very old clay making process or something. So there's like a little tie in there because you're covering yourself in the clay, petals for armor. Like, I don't know. I like all the symbolism and stuff. That's kind of one reason why I love Taylor Swift so much. Lots going on.
How do you feel about the F-bomb?
Oh, dude, it was sick. Not only in the song, but in Taylor Swift's trailer for her upcoming documentary, she says, "This is so fucking great" or something. So there's a lot of f***s coming from strong women in the music industry, and I am here for it.
For those about to stan, we salute you. There's plenty of music videos and stuff to dig into. So, yeah, this was exciting. I tweeted this to one of our followers. You know, I always get nervous. I get a little nervous for 2000s acts who are coming out with something new and going in a new direction. Like, we talk about the Taylor Swift thing sometimes. Hayley's 31-ish, whatever. Google search could be wrong. But let's say she's 35 tops, which she isn't. That's another like 30, 40, maybe 50 years on Neil Young standards, like of records. Like, I don't know. I hope original lineup of like some bands, it's simple. Like, oh, are Mark and Tom getting along that year? Maybe we'll see a new Blink tour with them or something. But like, I don't know. Original Paramore lineup, that stuff runs pretty deep. I don't know if we'll ever get that reunion tour. We're going to have to wait a long time for this Hayley solo stuff too. I mean, the video dropped this week of the I'm not doing Paramore stuff anymore vibe. So I don't know. I guess we shouldn't hold our breath, but I guess before we die, I'm sure there's a ton of fans who would love to see that happen. How many solo albums will we get? Will it go back and forth? We talk about like we've already seen so many Taylor Swift albums, so many of these albums, that albums, even Blink's getting up to like double digits. Like it's just a lot of music, man. We're still young. Right. Like there's just going to be a lot of stuff. Stan away, Stans. There's just going to be more and more videos as we all get older and do the reunion and farewell tours and stuff. Like, I don't know. Answer me this before we get into the All We Know Is Falling stuff. Will anybody see the original Paramore lineup at all ever again back on stage?
I don't think so.
Oh, man. I'm going to say yes, because hope's all we got, Tom. Hope is all we got. And I'd like to be a little chipper before we get into All We Know Is Falling, because we're just going down, man. It's only going down. So, but it's cool. It's fun. The Twitter stuff was fun. The mystery thing was fun. The social media aspect of being a fan of whether it's sports or music or not Easter eggs, not different types of eggs. I was going to say like some type of breakfast scramble over easy type thing, but it's specifically Easter eggs and music videos. It's fun to be a fan. This was nice. It was a fun week. I don't know if you agree, but like, what more could you want? Your favorite artist being active. So,
yeah. Well, I got one last thing here because I forgot to mention it, talking about parallels between this song and Told You So from After Laughter. In Told You So, she says, one of the refrains is throw me into the fire, throw me in, pull me out again, which is like another pottery metaphor, and then she brings it back for this song. So she's putting the work in, man. It's some of the common criticisms from All We Know Is Falling is like lyrically it's one-dimensional, yada yada. It sounds like obviously in the past 15 years she's grown as an artist a lot, and I don't know, man. I don't know if I love the solo stuff so far, but I will 1,000% be there through all of it. I'm really excited for her, and even more excited to go back.
The only Hayley performance I've ever liked was the B.O.B. collaboration.
You mean solo Hayley or what?
I'm just kidding. That'd be an absurd thing to say. Airplanes. I do like that song. I like it all. I love it all. So I'm excited to talk about any and all of it. Hell, let's just squeeze in a secret double episode, and talk about Riot too. Let's just do another Paramore episode, man. I don't know. I'm excited. That's all I can say. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's do All You Know Is Falling. 15 years this July. Came out in 2005. I'm going to do just like some super fast fun facts, and then I want to talk about how you first came across this album, because I think, as with a lot of things on this show, same time, same place kind of deal. And,
your basement.
My basement. Right. While I was playing RuneScape. All right, so super fast fun facts. Atlantic Records signed Hayley at 14 years old back in 2003. They wanted to make her a pop star, and she resisted super hard, saying she wanted to do something more authentic, and she formed a band which became Paramore, and she got the label to support her with them. So she started as a solo pop, quote unquote pop artist, and maybe she's coming back to that all these years later, but I thought that was interesting. My wife Megan is always really upset that they don't spell Paramore the right way, which it's a French word, Paramour, which means secret lover. But apparently the spelling of the band Paramore came from one of the band members' mother's maiden names. So maybe that's why they don't spell it the traditional way. There's actually meaning to it, and I didn't know that until just today.
That's a little different than a family name being like Smith, right?
Right.
Like, they'd be Smiths. Oh, what's your maiden name? Paramore. Oh, interesting. Is that French? Interesting. I wonder what the line of work would have been. But
what was there's a band they were relevant for like a day in 2009, and
Click Five.
Yes, the singer's mother, Vanessa Click Five.
Vanessa Click Five. If we did an episode on Click Five, is the reason I always bring that up. And if you haven't heard it, you should.
What? It wasn't Silverstein. It was something similar. Anyways, it was like the singer's mom's maiden name or something, but maybe someone on Twitter will know. So anyway, all the music for this album was written by Zach Farrow, and the main theme of the album was about their bassist, or no, not bassist, I forget who, Jeremy Davis left the band like right during the recordings, which took place in Orlando, and the the recordings for this album was done in 3 weeks from 3 different producers. They wrote all these songs about him leaving and abandoning them. And then shortly after the album came out, he rejoined. So then he had to perform all these songs about him. You know, a lot of people talk about like Stevie Nicks writing songs about.
Yeah. Is this the modern day Fleetwood Mac dude?
So, yeah, super weird. And I'll get back to the 3-week recording thing. Talking about how it did on the charts, not super well out of the gate, but I think like most people, once Riot came out and everyone loved it, they had a friend like we did. His name was Adam. We're going to add him to the Sherpa list for people that influenced a lot of our musical taste in high school. Once Riot was out, he was like, oh, hey, they have another entire album that came out before this. And in 2007, it went on to be certified gold, sold a bunch of copies, charted on Billboard, like number 8 on Billboard in 2009, 4 years after it came out, obviously following the success of Riot. And
that's pretty high, man. I mean, we talked about, we have some vacations coming up, so I don't know what order these are going to be in, but we're going to be doing some Fall Out Boy stuff at some point here. It'll be clear if we've already released that at this point, but when they came out, they were talking about the chorus being too wordy and stuff and kind of the emo stuff, but I guess by 2009, it was like we were in full give me something the kids will cry for mode. Like to reach top 10 on the Billboard, that's not like, it's not fringe stuff anymore. We're not flirting with the 2002, 2003 nu metal death stuff. It's like a lot has happened by this point, 2009, for a Paramore album to reach the top 10 on Billboard. I don't know. As we read these stats week after week, that's no small thing, man. That's crazy. That's legitimately crazy for something this moody.
And not only that, but 4 years after it released, which shows how massive Riot was, where it brought
Yes.
all the other albums along with it. Like crazy, absolutely crazy. So all we know is following the last fun fact, their drummer was 14 years old when they were writing these songs, and he recorded it at 15, and Hayley Williams was only 17 years old. All of these vocals done by a fucking teenager, which is just silly. I think it's crazy that when you hear the production, it's definitely, it's a tier above a demo, but it's not quite like the polished version of like what Riot is, and that it shows in the vocal production. There's not a lot of extra. There's a couple, background woes and stuff like that. But it sounds like all the main vocals are single tracked, not much effects going on. It's just kind of like a dry vocal take. And I feel like most singers, especially in this age range, would be affected in the quality of like their voice in the recording, because you need a lot of like extra takes and this and that to really beef it up. But like the fact that it's so underproduced and she still sounds so powerful at the same time, I think speaks volumes to her as not just a vocalist, but again, a vocalist at the age of 17. Like her voice can stand on its own without a bunch of production tricks. It's truly amazing that she pulled that off.
Yeah, I was listening to some of the tunes thinking, okay, I could see if there was a way to, obviously you were like, okay, what's the difference between this and the like dozens of demos we picked up at the Hangout or Forward Hall, right? Like some of the songs like Brighter maybe, we'll get into all that later, but you're like, okay, there's not a ton separating it, but then you're like, except for tracks 1, 2, 3, and you're like 2/3 of the album. Like the 1/3 of the album that's not great is like, okay, I could have picked this up at a show. But then, like, the other 2/3 of the album reminds you, like, no, I could not have actually. But you're right about kind of that demo vibe. You're like, okay, I could see this band at this scene, but it's also equally obvious why they got famous, I guess. But I thought a similar thing is what I'm trying to say.
It's wild. I mean, do you just want to go? Well, first of all, yeah. Who introduced you to this album? How did it happen? Let's talk about that.
I am picturing, so there's that meme about Fleetwood Mac. There's that fight in that fast food restaurant, and the guy is just slowly eating his food.
Oh,
the meme is like, they freeze frame the fight, and they're like, Fleetwood Mac recording Rumors, or whatever the album would have been, and it's like me listening to Rumors as the guy eating his sandwich. I'm picturing a similar meme where Paramore recording and, playing these songs, but I would be crying and equally upset by myself in the other corner, like not eating a sandwich, just lying on the floor, like, oh man. So I remember seeing the Riot poster at your house, and basically, I don't know what it was like, but I imagine Adam was like, Tom, X, Y, and Z. I would be like, oh, what are you guys doing? And you both just silently hand me 2 records, like, things are going to change for you. You know, like, just here. I don't want these in. It's kind of like the Jumanji game or something. You're like, your life's going to be different in a worse way. It's going to be kind of fun at times, but it's going to be really scary at other times. Dwayne Johnson's going to get involved in about 20 years. No, I'm just kidding about that part. But it is Jumanji-like in that way. Like, you're exposed to this whole new piece of art that's like kind of wild. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what I'm trying to say, man. It was heavy, though. I remember it was from you, so I blame you. There was that. It was probably in that iTunes library dump I got from you.
Yeah, I mean, I forget who introduced me to Riot. I think the entire world just blew up at once when that came out, and it was hard to not hear it. I went out and I bought the physical CD. I remember my sister's little boombox with a dent on the right speaker, like in the basement, facing the computer chair in the computer room. And Adam being, yeah, just like, there's another album, right? And it like totally blew my mind. I don't know how I acquired the album because I don't know if you could buy music from the iTunes store yet. And I didn't quite know about torrenting, but I got this album and just absolutely loved it. And I just felt heartache over me and Hayley not being together. Like, I don't know if I have felt that way about a musical artist since. Like, it's crazy, but yeah, just like horrible memories of like hating my life in the basement, playing either RuneScape or Roller Coaster Tycoon, talking to Fallon on AOL Instant Messenger, wishing my life was different. And it's hard to not go back to that exact place when I hear this album. Like, I wanted to listen to it 5 times and I had to like listen in breaks because it was affecting me way too much. But
yeah, when we do Say Anything stuff, and when we do any of these episodes, actually, we got to be like careful a little bit. Like, I don't know. Listen, I was like, I do need to listen to this for like a 24th time just to like make sure, because I was missing a few of the middle tracks, like just to have something to say, like, or maybe some lyrical analysis or whatever. Not that we go like too in depth, but yeah, man. It's Conspiracy, I think, is and I guess we should just get into it at some point, but Conspiracy is... There's the line in Tina Fey's book, Bossy Pants, where she's like, don't you remember when I was the underdog? Because she like got some job at a YMCA in Chicago while she was doing Second City classes. And some like middle-aged woman who would have done that job for like 30 years didn't get it. She's like, come on, don't you remember where I was the underdog? No, you don't? Oh, okay. Well, but like, that's kind of my relationship with the song Conspiracy. It's just like lying on the floor, letting the song happen to you 30 times in a row, kind of. And I think it's definitely a Sad Boy Hall of Famer for me. I don't know if you would agree. And maybe we could elaborate when we get to that particular track. But
or is it a Sad Girl Hall of Famer?
Sad person, man.
Yeah.
I
sad
don't know.
Human.
Yeah. The mascot for the fictional community college and community. The yeah, brutal. Kind of brutal, man. Honestly, like I remember finding out about it and going through it. And it's just the voice, the talent of the voice, the way the guitars come, the angst, the lyrics, the stuff that both shouldn't and very much does make sense to someone who's 14, right? Like intricate relationship stuff that is the most and least relatable at the same time to someone of that age who can't drive yet or doesn't have a learner's permit. Yeah, man. You want to just dive in?
Let's do All We Know.
I just wrote Pinch Harmonics, like great album opener. And I don't even know if it's a pinch harmonic because I'm not a guitar player. But so I wanted to check that with you. But the angst and pinch harmonics, I think, are my 2 words I wrote down for this song. Just like they come like bats out of hell, boom, here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted, well, first of all, it starts off pretty heavy, right? It's about their former band member. And the thing that obviously sticks out is the breakdown. And it just like is representative of the entire years of 2005 and 2006. I feel like Still Frame Sky, our hometown heroes, may have ripped this breakdown off directly. Like it just puts me in this time and place. And I think they're natural harmonics. They're not pinch harmonics, which is a little different. But yeah, burn up. like just
Yeah.
wow, man, it is a fucking ride. And
Here we go. How about this?
Ooh,
Is it the most Paramore song?
ooh, no. Wait.
No, you're right. I got ahead of myself in the notes, but I think I still would have asked that question. But I'm glad you said no, because I think I have to ask it about like 4 more songs on this record, so we could just zip by that one.
Oh, wait. We need to give our Angst-O-Meter. We should be starting with that. Angst-O-Meter for track 1, All We Know. Count of 3, say it at the same time.
No, not at all. I want to hear yours, or no, and I want to talk about it first because it might change. I don't know. Yeah, you go first. So this is out of 5 stars.
Oh, out of
5
5.
out of 5 being
No, let's get
full angst.
Okay. I give it a. Can we give half stars?
Sure.
I think on average, I think there's parts where it's a 3.5, parts where it's 4.5. I'm going to give it a solid 4.
I'm on board. I don't think I want to fight you too hard today. Angst, pinch harmonics, the energy, the passion, just bringing the thunder. There are songs on this album that will be a 5. I have no problem starting with a 4. I really like that grade, Tom, honestly. So we can keep it moving if you want. But yeah, what an album opener. What an album opener, I should say.
Let's talk about the lyrics. Let's find those 4-star.
I don't know, the Angst-O-Meter, I didn't want to do this because this isn't what you wanted. It's just like, oh.
There you go.
It might be a 6 out of 5, man.
We try so hard to understand, but we can't. We held the world out in our hands and you ran away. Like, ooh.
Record that sound you just made, because I have been wanting to try to make it this whole time. Just play that on repeat for 70 minutes. What do you feel about All We Know Is Falling? Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. Okay.
But 4 out of 5. I'm okay with it.
Sure.
I'm good with it.
So we go right from that. Don't think it can get much angstier, and we hit number 2, Pressure. Oh my God.
Is this the most Paramore song? It's either this or Hallelujah for me. I'll just come out and say that, I think.
God,
when I think of like, what do I want to be in their encore? Or what do I think, we start to talk about like, what would their reunion tour set list look like in like 20 years if the Hatchets get buried? I think Hallelujah, Pressure, stuff that shows off both the rocking and the voice, right?
Yeah. It's when I think of Paramore, I either think of Misery Business or Pressure, I think would be the most Paramore songs. And I think Misery Business is only because it was their most popular one. They don't even perform Misery Business anymore, but
I'm okay with that. I think, this is just personal. Again, music, it's all taste is whatever. I think Hallelujah and Pressure were above Misery Business in my personal listing anyway, so it's a good song. It's a great Paramore song, but I don't mind that they don't play it anymore, and the reasons seem justified. We
Sure.
don't have to go into all of it.
Yeah, I mean, Pressure is the song that really, like, brings me to an, like, again, all joking aside, an unhealthy amount of angst. Like, it takes me back to that basement. Honestly, this song still hurts. Like, it is emotionally difficult to listen to this song, which sucks because it's such a good song and I love it. But, like, damn, dude, it takes me back in a very bad way. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I should be doubling down on therapy. Maybe I go twice a week to try to be able to listen to this song.
You should have a therapist just for Paramore-related illnesses. So here's what I'll say. If we're doing a tournament of all the songs to see which one's the best Paramore song, I think this is a 1 seed.
Oh, yeah.
But personally, I don't think it's the best song on the album because... Just stick around and find out why. How about that?
You'll never guess.
How about that for some radio? There's not even an ad. We're just going to talk more about other stuff for a little while. Where do you say on the Angst-O-Meter?
Oh, this is a solid 5 if there ever was one.
Whoa!
Wow! Oh,
my boy, my angsty boy. I've abandoned my angsty boy. I'm gonna say 3.5. I think it's too pretty. I think it's too pretty. I don't know. It's too good.
Oh wow!
Dude, we still have to do My Heart. So like, let's just relax. All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay, so we're grading it on a curve. Then is what you're saying.
Well, I think one might be encouraged to take other things into consideration. That's all. But you're not.
Okay.
But the thing is, they're all 6 out of 5, Tom. They're all 6 out of 5. That's the whole thing. The exercise is flawed. Why do we even do this? No, I know why. But like, I'm getting so excited. I'm shaking my table again. Tom always has to edit around the points of the episode where I get excited because my audio goes out the window.
So one of my favorite memories of this song, when I get too sad, I try to think about this, which then kind of makes me angry. But the same year, in 2008, I think it was 8, if not 2007, the headline Warped Tour. She was wearing the panda shirt with the black and white kind of sunburst thing, the yellow highlighter pants. The hair, I think at this time, was still red. And I was filming the show for my Motorola Razr. And I was second, like I was right against the barrier. There was one girl ahead of me. And you know when the whole crowd starts pushing and there's nothing you can do, you just got to kind of go with the wave. This girl was like elbowing me in the ribs because like people were getting pushed around. I wasn't like falling all over her, but just like there was some pressure on the crowd. And she was like borderline assault, elbow me in the ribs over and over and over. I had to leave the crowd and like jump over the barrier because she was like physically abusing me. So then I had to watch the rest of the show from the back, and I was filming, I think they closed with pressure. I was filming the video on my Motorola Razr, and there was this girl next to me that when it drops down for the second verse and she says, and there's nothing else to show, this girl in the most obnoxious way was like, and there's nothing else to show. And it just like overwhelmed everything on the video. And I just remember like the whole thing ducking down because this girl's screaming like right into my Razr microphone. And it was so funny, but damn, dude. And you know, the music video is cool. Like, so can we talk about the flip over the back in the music video?
Yeah, man. We talked enough about the Fall Out Boy spins during that episode. We might not have it. The flip over the back, a more technical move, harder to pull off. Very impressive, right?
Yeah, joint effort for sure. I'm wondering if like people were waiting for it live. And I'm wondering if it's one of those things like you talked last week, like I never would have written this song if I knew I would have to perform it every night for the next 30 years of my life. Right. Do you think they regretted doing that flip because now they have to do it every show? Do they still do it? Maybe we can ask Twitter. Are they still doing the flip?
10, 20 years. Let's say best case, 8 years go by. Reunion tours here. It's going to be 28, but let's say it's 8. Like, just worst case, best case, whatever. These dudes are getting a little old up there. Like, post 40, like when they're 40, I mean, you know, it's a tough maneuver. It's not messing around. You got to do some yoga, stay limber, do your stretches, everybody. Stay hydrated. You got to take care of yourselves. Get your sleep. You know, we don't want to see anybody get hurt. You know what I mean? Like when they get up to like Bob Dylan, Neil Young age and they're ripping out like All We Know Is Falling tunes, like let's just relax. Give us the acoustic version. Here's what I want. I'm almost 30. Give me the reimagined acoustic version of All We Know Is Falling. I would love that. If it hasn't happened already, I should have, I guess, maybe dug a little deeper, but I don't think that's happened. I think we would have known about it.
I would like that a lot.
I'm not talking about punk goes acoustic or anything. If it happened to be on that, I'm like total reimagine, not like folk version album or anything, but just like give me the soft Bulletin version. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't see an acoustic version online, so yeah, let's hope for that in the next 20 years. That'd be dope. I'd be really down for that for sure.
And they wouldn't have to flip while performing it or anything. It'd be safe. Tuck that away for when we have to do the farewell tours of all these bands, which will be a sad thing. Where in the band, they're starting to get experimental in their 30s and 40s right now, and that's like, it's okay. Growth is good. I'm not even against any of it. I just hope we get another chance to see them. That's all.
Yeah, totally.
Are we on emergency yet?
Let's move on right now.
Have we even graded this? Oh yeah, I gave it a 3.5. Okay.
I'll give it a 4 or 5. Sure.
4 or 5. Sure. Nothing wrong with it. Again, it would be hard to get one of these answers wrong, one that you couldn't argue for. Yeah, man, emergency. Okay.
All right.
Oh, yep.
Two things. We got to talk about the dress. We got to talk about the hair.
Yeah, sure.
That's it.
Yep.
Dress, hair. No,
This
her hair is so big. It is so intimidating. Oh my gosh. I mean, it is. She was doing 2007 before anyone else did with that hair. It's
I've talked about it on the show before. 90s had the Rachel. I honestly think this haircut was the 2000s version of the Rachel. I don't have to go much into detail about that. I've talked about it on the show too much. But I believe that. That's not a take. It's just, right? Like, I don't know. Per capita haircut that inspired direct copycats, like, it's got to be up there in terms of, like, being one of the most influential of the decade, I have to assume.
Sure. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I somehow have not seen any Paramore music videos except this one. And I have somehow seen this one like 50 full times. I don't know how I always run into this one. Like, even at like bars, I'll look up and someone will have like Fuse on or something. Like, I don't know. But I know what this one looks like. There's the dress, there's the hair. And it's apocalyptic looking. Is there an Instagram filter called apocalyptic? Because I think that's what they had over the lens on that day.
We should bake it.
Yes.
Yeah, this song actually, I had to stop halfway through. I'm not usually like that emotional of a guy, I guess, and I almost lost it. I don't know, dude. Like, this song is probably just unhealthy for me. So it oh God, I've seen love die way too many times when it deserved to be alive. Holy dude. Oh, Jesus.
You start to line up some of the songs from the catalog, like Only Exception, some of the lines about like, I swore off love and stuff. And you start to piece together what the story might be, even from Simmer, right? I mean, like, I think it's coming from the same source, right? So I think we're just getting more and more puzzle pieces to the complete picture. But yeah. I think the Angst-O-Meter, we're going to break it on this one. And we're not even 3 tracks to the album. I mean, this is the Fists Are Out song, right? I mean, we go on a roller coaster ride, of course, but this is just like, is this the highest energy tune on the record?
Yeah, I would think so. I think, Pressures could be a 4.5. If for nothing else, personal reasons. Emergency across the board objectively has to be a 5, right?
I love disagreeing with you, but it has to be, right? If not now, when, man? If not now, when? Sure. I don't know if you want to club horn that a little, or I don't want to make the edit too hard on you, but I think it club horns itself, just saying it out loud. That's a 505 on that Angst-O-Meter, man. Emergency, track 3. All we know is fall. All we know is falling. It's an emergency. How dramatic can the language be? How much, like, it doesn't get much more hot topic than give me something the kids will cry for pronto. Yeah. And the line when I mentioned earlier, stuff that is somehow the most and least like relatable to a 14-year-old is this line in particular. I've seen love die way too many times when it deserved to be alive. Like, you're 14. We are 14. The drummer is 14. It's not like Jesse Lacey at age 23 having gone through a couple breakups. It was so perfect, but looking back makes less and less sense through the years. But somehow, like, it's kind of like how you behave around how you used to behave when you hang out with old friends. Like, I feel how I used to feel when I listened to this song. And I guess I don't, at this point, it would have changed by now if it was going to. So I guess we're just doomed to like be careful when we like scroll past this in our libraries. I don't know.
It's something else, man. Oh God.
She wore that dress live a couple times.
She did.
You shared a couple, it's like a tattered wedding dress. Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah, I think the one she wore, so there's a video that I'm going to put in the show notes for this episode, reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/155. It is, I remember just watching this video on repeat as a teenager. It is live in Anaheim. And all they had at this point was this album, and they performed it very well. Like, incredibly good performers, and instrumentalists and vocalists for their age, and she was wearing the dress, and it was dirty, and you could just feel the angst, man. Like,
yeah.
God.
Did they do the flip turn thing in
They did.
any of those videos?
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
Okay,
Yep.
so they've been polished performers from the start.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what led to the guitarist's disdain.
I don't know. Anyways, we are going
5 out of 5.
real long. Let's
let's
move on to
brighter.
4
Not my
brighter.
favorite.
Not
2 out
yeah,
of 5. I don't care.
Sure. Same.
Dear bassist, you're a bright light. Please come back. This is a moment of weakness. Moving on. 2 out of 5. Sorry, everybody. Not my favorite. Tom, do you disagree?
Nope. Let's do it.
Cool. Moving on. Here we go again. Hey, quick thing. I'll write you just to let you know as a lyric. Bands like Paramore, Newfound Glory, All Time Low, it made references to like burning pictures and writing letters a lot. All American Rejects as well. Do you think they were burning pictures and writing letters, or is it just like bands that were born technically before the internet happened as part of a day-to-day use thing that made references that their parents would have got? But like, do you really think the lead singer of Newfound Glory burned a picture in his lifetime? Or do you think just like these were references that were beginning to get phased out, like the last glimpse of like penning a letter?
Right, like leftover artifacts of a bygone pre-internet era or something.
Like if it's in a lyric, I don't think they're being like, I'll write you an email just to let you know. Like I think it's just like,
I'll update my AIM status just to let you know.
Exactly. I'll text you just to let you know that I got there okay. No, I just, when that caught my ear, like, I think we might have caught the Gen Y bands a little bit, which I think is the sweet spot of the show, aka that's not really a thing. They made it millennial, and that's fine. I'm not really going to fight that. But some of those references are peppered in, and we come across them every now and again, but it's like, did you write them to let you know? Would you? Do you have the postage? It's tough. Hard to say. Just kind of a 90s thing that had bled over a little bit, that's all.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's a good song. I'm not going to turn it off, but it's not my favorite. I think kind of the fade out at the end makes it kind of fall off into oblivion for me, but it's a good song. This whole album is good. It's just...
It's one of those things. I'm glad we're not trying to rank them because is it good? Yes. Could you talk me into a 3.5? Of course. Yes. Right. But we gotta control ourselves and have some self-care. Let's just like take a minute to like, anyway, 3.5 for me, I guess.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. It's probably on a scale of 3 to 5 of how much do I like it. It's probably right there too.
Well, at the end, the we just take it back. It's just like, oh God, you're like, again, it's all good. It's all angst. It earns at least a 3.5 for me. So
yeah, and I mean, I think the guitar, like it's a little playful for it to have the consequential energy of emergency or something, but
right, there's a polished nature of the first 3 tracks that this feels like something you might have found on a really good demo in your hometown or something. You know what I mean? Like not the best song,
absolutely.
Not the best song. The angst is there, the energy's there. It belongs on this album, but not all of them can be total aces or total winners, I guess. So
yeah,
we can move it right along to Never Let This Go. I think this might be one of the more underrated tracks on the album.
Oh,
I like it a lot. I might give this a
good.
3.5 as well, but just the storytelling of Now I Feel Like I Don't Know You, kind of like faking it through a relationship. Again, how is a 14-year-old really be like, yeah, although you had been with a girl in your life at this point that you had been kind of faking it out. And actually now I'm kind of curious, did you relate to this song because of that at the time?
Not really.
Because the whole storyline is you're pretending to be into this thing, you're faking it through this thing, and then you're afraid to let go of this thing. And that's just, it is almost the most purest form of angst on the album, maybe. I don't know if the music reflects that, but lyrically it's just like, I feel like I don't know you. I'm sticking in this just because it's safe, but also like, not all of it was bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense for the situation I was in. I don't think I, again, have ever read into the lyrics enough to really get that.
That's true. You're not a lyrics guy. That's fine. Yeah, you know what? You're right.
But
I was curious, though.
I love how the chorus starts, the drum beat in this. It starts very high energy, and then they keep breaking it up as it slows down. I would have liked to have heard just a more driving chorus. Probably would have made it feel angstier rather than going in and out with that. I'd probably give this one probably a 3.5 as well.
Okay. Yeah. It deserves respect.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, for sure. No.
I don't think the song would never be like, it's emergency. It's not, but that's okay, man. You know? They're all of a high caliber. This might be underrated, criminally underrated though. Big fan. I think the only one we've really punished is Brighter, but who cares? Whatever. It's a 2. Here's the hot. You ready for the hot take?
I'm ready.
Whoa is my favorite Paramore song.
What? Oh my
it is.
God.
For me, it's a 2 on the Angst-O-Meter because it's just a pop song to me. I love it. It's like we've got everybody singing. I've always wanted to see them live. I never have. I like to imagine that they would open the show with this song. I think it's a high energy, super crazy, nice rocker. I love Whoa. I love Whoa a lot. Angst-O-Meter's tough. On the Does Pat Like It meter? 5 out of 5. Love this song. Angsty, not so much. The lyrics are kind of vague. It's just like, we got everybody singing. You know, it's like it belongs somewhere else. It's kind of like Miley Cyrus singing Party in the USA, which was written for a British pop star. Like, it always just doesn't really belong on an album about writing somebody to let them know something. I don't know. But yeah, love it. 2 out of 5 on the Angst scale, but 5 out of 5 in my heart.
Interesting. I always felt like this one was weird because it does feel like more like a throwaway pop song, but I don't hate it, but I'm never looking forward to it.
Oh, see, track 7, track 8, Whoa and Conspiracy might be my favorite 2 songs on the album.
Oh, Conspiracy is really good, dude.
Dude, Conspiracy, you want to talk about just sprawled out on the floor, man. Just like there's a difference between listening and riding on a bus or running or riding a bike, and then there's letting music kind of just happen to you. You're just in the room letting those sound waves bounce off your body and trying to almost escape them, and you don't know why you're doing this to yourself. Like Conspiracy, and again, it goes back to that Tina Fey thing. Remember when I was the underdog? Oh, things weren't so bad for me ever. Right. But somehow this song works its way into your brain, and you're like, you know what? The whole world is against me. I knew it all along, man. And yeah, someone needs to explain this to me because like I can't get anything right. It's like the perfect email. To me, this is full send, full stop, whatever. I'm not using either of those right. 5 out of 5. Angst-O-Meter slams, handle breaks. We can't even grade the next 2 songs. Just like give me the full Angst-O-Meter experience with Conspiracy. I love it dearly. I love listening to this album because the payoffs at track 7 and 8 are so huge for me because I personally love Whoa and Conspiracy so much. Just pure enjoyment. Easily the 2 I listen to the most on this record. I just deep love.
Yeah, this is a solid 5. And I like Emergency more, but this is definitely like a teenage angst vibe that I think is probably inescapable for most people, regardless of your upbringing. It's just like the world's against me. And I love the fact that she's like, I know this is happening and I can't understand why is like, you know, just explain to me this conspiracy against me. It's like,
tell me how I lost my power. When you want to talk about going from high school to college and like being in a new place, you're like, I don't know. How did I lose my power? Nothing's the same. You know, like, and it's probably because the world's against me. I know it. You know, like I've figured it out. Thanks, Hayley Williams. Now it makes sense. The world's against me. And it feels comforting, but also it's probably the unhealthiest mindset to be putting yourself into if you are feeling that way about something. It's kind of like the Hawthorne Heights episode where you talk about some of these ideas, you know, but nonetheless, I'm glad I experienced it, I think, at the end of the day. How about you?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, man. Especially because, like, you know, when you're maybe 12, you're like, oh, my parents are like, you know, they're the ones holding me back. But like, once I get away from my parents, then the world is mine. And then it's like, oh no, the entire world hates me. It's not just my parents. It's yeah, it's a hard reality to grasp, and would never want to go back to being a teenager ever, ever, ever for this exact reason.
What has been your favorite phase of life, if you don't mind me asking?
I think the one I look back at the most fondly was probably, the place I was living right before I met Shane, and then when I moved in with Shane shortly afterwards. I was riding my bike a lot. I guess I feel like my identity was attached to fun, different, and productive things, and I really like, I don't know. I think now, I mean, objectively is probably the best point in my entire life, and I'm sure in 5 years I'll realize that too late, but like, I think I look back most fondly of this place I lived where you guys drove from Pennsylvania to visit me in DC. I was living with two guys I didn't really know, just had a room, had my studio in there, bathroom to myself, never had to leave my room, ordered Chinese food or pizza from the place next door every night, and just like could be totally selfish, I guess. Like didn't have to give a shit about anyone or anything. Rode my bike when I wanted, worked. I was just graduating college and the whole world was in front of me and I felt like there was nothing to hold me back, I guess. But I think objectively now it's only gotten better with time for sure. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's because of the song Conspiracy.
Right.
All we know is falling.
Right. Let's move on to
we're running super long, right?
Yeah,
Should
we are.
Scoot boogie.
I don't want to pass over Franklin too quickly because I think it is probably one of the most understated and underrated songs on the record.
Okay. I disagree, but not like in a disdainful, hateful way. It's not for me, but I would love to hear what you have to say.
I just like low-key fucking love this song. I think I didn't realize how good it was until I watched the Live in Anaheim video and just like their energy on stage shifted. It was just like less angsty, less angry, a little more morose of like, now that we're doing this thing and we're bigger than Franklin, Tennessee, coming back isn't going to feel the same. And
oh, okay. It's the name of their hometown. Got it. That was not.
Yeah.
That explains the lyrics a lot.
Right. So, I mean, I guess I kind of empathize with this song because it's like, I don't have a home anymore. Like, I don't know where I belong. When we go back, we're going to feel like strangers, and it's so weird feeling like a stranger in your own place. And like, that's kind of a feeling that I've just had consistently all through my life. So this one hits pretty hard, and I like that they take a second to breathe, to kind of like let the emotions wash over you. It's not so much happening to you, at you. You're just kind of like in the flow of this thing. And I like the male backup vocals in the right channel and kind of the dual vocals and stuff. It's a really nice song that I kind of can't like. So when Whoa is playing again, I don't hate that song, but it's just like, oh shit, Franklin's coming up. Like I get excited for it. So I think Angst-O-Meter, I mean, it's probably a 3.5 because like, yeah, it's a pretty solid theme, and it's it feels raw. I like that it's like, you know, the last line, can you remind me of a time when we were so alive? And then just, do you remember that? And it's like, okay, maybe we don't have the place where we grew up, but at least we have each other to remind ourselves of like how things used to be. And like, there's a feeling of camaraderie around that, which is better than just going through it alone. And it's nice. I just think it's really nice is how you could sum up that whole song.
I think you like it because it's basically a Boxcar Racer song. How do you feel about that?
I'll take it, man.
Do you think that's accurate?
No, but I'll take it.
Oh, it reminds me of Tom DeLonge and Boxcar Racer, just like of There Is or something like.
Yeah.
There's a drive, there's a distance, there's a home somewhere else, and we're talking about being else. I don't know. It's a Boxcar Racer song to me.
Yeah. No. Okay. I'll take it.
Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. I don't even dislike Franklin. It just reminded me of that a little bit. I'll take your 3 out of 5. I'm not here to fight you. I'm going to like. We're already talking about a pretty heavy album. I don't think us fighting is going to help ourselves. So like, I think this is the most agreeable I'm ever going to be.
I'm already in a bad place. Like,
My Heart, track 10.
Okay.
I'm losing my voice. I don't think I've ever almost lost my voice over this show. This is officially on my MC Lars Give Me Something the Kids Will Cry For meter. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. My heart beats for only you. Like, so I didn't know they wrote this about their band member. I was trying to do like a thread of like whether or not this song would have, or this album would have been about a breakup, but it's not. It's about a band breakup, I guess. But had it been about a relationship romantically, there's the themes of the roller coaster ride itself, faking through it, blah, blah, blah. But by the end, it's like, I don't know. But you just kind of, I had a take, but if it's about a band member, then I give it up. Heavy though, right? The screams, it's like, I don't know. It's almost like you don't get let off at any, like Emergency, you're like, whew, I bet it'll lay off after this because this is pretty intense. But then you get like, no, man, no. So 5 out of 5. What can you say? What can you say about My Heart?
Dude, hard no on that one.
That's fine. Okay.
I give it a 7 out of 5. Dude, this, I mean,
yeah, you had me going, dude. I'm like, cool, we're agreeing a lot. And then I'm like, I thought that was the most slam dunk of, you're like, no. But sure, 7 out of 5, man.
It is, I mean, dude, just, it's so raw, just this hard it beats for only you over and over and over, and then the screams come in, yeah, and it's like, whoa, dude. And it just goes, and it goes, and it goes, and it builds, and it like, you keep, like, I just have this like tense feeling like, okay, it's gonna like all come down at some point, and it just keeps building and building. It's like all this suspense waiting for it to like fall off, and it never does, and it's just, dude.
My heart, it beats for you.
They do it very well live. Everyone should watch this live in Anaheim video. Everything they do in this video is somehow better than the album version, and they are not shy in the mix of the screams in this video. It's so good. It is so, so, so good. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think wow is a good way to kind of end the episode. Like, All We Know Is Falling happened to all of us. It's over now. It's okay. You know, Hayley's moving on. We're allowed to move on for a little bit. But it's always there. It's always a part of it. An important part, it sounds like. Is that fair? A very important part.
I think we might be overemphasizing the importance of this album on society.
No.
On the you don't think so? I think to us
whoever's listening,
sure.
Whoever's listening to this show, I guarantee you this album, if not more than what we've laid out, how could you not? I mean, here's a question to end the episode. Do you think after Riot came out and this came out, this ended up being a more impactful album to the Paramore fan?
Oh.
In the long run?
Yes. To the people who are already fans.
Sure. To the Paramore fan, I'm not saying it's better, but the question, being very specific, I get that, but is it possible that All We Know Is Falling had the longer lasting emotional impact on the Paramore fan?
Probably. I think you're right.
And that's okay. It's important. It was important. Again, maybe just to us, who knows? We're just doing this thing weekly that actually a shocking number of people nowadays are tweet at us. How brutal was it for you to experience this album in the best way possible because of how great it is? Tweet at us at _reminiscentfm. Tell your friend, the friend that gave you this record, tell them about this episode and punish them by
reliving their past trauma.
Or have the same discussion over a beer or a Kool-Aid, depending on, break some bread. I think that's about it for me. I'm glad I get to wait a few months before revisiting, but I'll revisit. I'm not going to pretend like I don't go back to Paramore phases like frequently.
Yeah, it's heavy.
All We Know Is track 1 is too good. You just like the energy you feel in the first 3 tracks. It's like a narcotic or something. It's just like, yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, it managed to carve out like a really good place in the scene. I think at the time it was something that, on one hand, it did get some criticism for being one-dimensional, whatever, but I think they walked a really fine line of having like a very strong consistency of musical content, of style, without it being too repetitive, and then also without trying to like have 2 songs that really shake it up and get like a funky groove in there. I think it's just like a super solid effort, especially for literal fucking children who wrote this album, dude. Like children bringing grown men and women to tears over words they probably couldn't even relate to at the time. Like,
yeah, I mean, we'd always talk about this, but you know, you were like, man, why didn't our junior high band make it? It's like, I know exactly why our junior high band made it, because there were people out there doing things like this. Yeah, that's about it for me, man. Can I say that 4 Year Strong is coming out with new music, and we will at some point the next couple of months revisit Rise or Die Trying?
Yes.
Cool. Not next week necessarily, but I'm a little like, that's definitely a good palate cleanser to be like, yeah. You know, like to go from this to that. So
we've had like 3 very sad weeks in a row.
Really? What would have been the last 2? I kind of forget.
Well, it was Commit This to Memory and Say Anything.
Oh yeah. But we did Alive with the Glory of Love, and talked about Scrubs a lot. So I wasn't like in too difficult of a headspace. It's not like we talked about
Eloise
or Admit It or The Feudal or something, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm eating rat poison for dinner. Like we didn't have to talk about any of those lyrics or anything. So yeah, Motion City, that was more fun for me. Anyway, let's put this to bed. You already have a long night of editing ahead of you. My song of the week is Soccer Mommy, which I've mentioned on the show before, I believe. Her new album is coming out soon in 2020, the year we are currently in. And she dropped one of the tunes off of it. It's called Circle the Drain, off of the album Color Theory. The artist, again, is Soccer Mommy. So good stuff out of her. When I was going through my snail mail phase, that came up. And anyway, I love it. And I want some more of it.
Nice. I just discovered on the subreddit Pop Punkers one of the best crossovers in musical history. I guess it's pretty recent, but Dan Campbell, aka Soupy, the lead singer of the Wonder Years, covered All Too Well by Taylor Swift and totally nailed it. Just wow. It's really good. So, song of the week, song of the month. It is just exactly what I needed. And it's put me in place.
That's 2 pretty big, like,
yeah. So it's going to be good. But yeah, it is, let me see, 6 p.m. on a Thursday, and I need to have this thing edited and published in like a couple hours. So I'm going to run. But cool. I'm glad that we waited to do this because I wanted to spend more time with Simmer. I know we didn't
Simmer children.
Simmer. Didn't talk too much about it, but it was fun to, because I've done the things where you like wait for the premiere for Taylor Swift's videos or whatever, but I feel like bands in our genre don't have those big buildups like that, and it was fun to do it for Paramore because you imagine that kind of thing for.
Kudos to Hayley for, seeing what the market was for herself almost a little bit. Like, identify the stands. Can I pull something like this off? Because Lord knows Taylor Swift has enough of them. But there was some legitimate buzz over the last couple months. She would release those little clips of breathing heavily in the woods. And good stuff. It's been fun.
Yep.
Many thanks to her and Paramore. And, and to B.O.B., honestly, even though the earth is probably spherical. So, music doesn't have to be about that all the time. So, anyway, I love you, man. Thanks for listening. Tell a friend @_reminiscent FM on Twitter. Come find us and come talk to us.
All right. Love you too, dude. See ya. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking all the way through the episode. This is honestly a very hard record to get through. Lots of emotional pain and angst attached to it, but we got through the whole thing for you guys, so thank you for being here. Check out our blog post for this episode, reminiscentpodcast.com/blog, and follow us on Twitter and let us know what your favorite song and what the angstiest song on this record is, @_reminiscentfm. We love you guys so much, and we will see you next week.